Hey guys, welcome back to an interesting video on Wild Rift. So today we're back with a Vayne updated complete guide for the latest patch. And of course, as usual with that, don't forget to check out the Vayne basic guide that I'll put up in the cards above for her skills, leveling order, tips and tricks, as well as some combos. So let's jump straight into her items. So first up, this is the item build that I chose to go for on Vayne, and I think that there are quite a number of changes that can be made if you want to. So first up, I like to go for Gluttonous Greaves, 35 AD and Omnivamp. I think Omnivamp is insane on Vayne because of the true damage that you deal, so I really think this is probably the best boots on Vayne. Like, yeah, you could go for a different boots, like you could go for the attack speed boots, but I really don't think it's that good. So I think Gluttonous Greaves is the way to go. First core item, I think Blade of the Rune King is always the way to go as well. The Ruined Blade of the Rune King for that matter. So you get the AD, the attack speed, you get the physical vamp, as well as the current health on hit damage, as well as the drain passive, which will give you movement speed, help you to kite a little bit better, and a little bit of burst damage as well. You do get the penalty, but I think it is definitely worth it. So now we get into the next two core items. Now I think Terminus and Wits End are the next two core items you should always go for, but the order can change. So Terminus obviously gives you AD attack speed, on hit magic damage, as well as the armor and magic resist, and also the armor and magic pen when you stack it up. Whereas Wits End gives you attack speed, magic resist, as well as, again, more on hit magic damage, as well as healing when you're below half health. So you can swap them around like that, especially if you're into a very heavy AB team or you don't really need armor pen and such. You can swap it around, but I actually kind of like the AD you get from the Terminus. You do lose out on 15% attack speed compared to Wits End, but I do think Terminus second does make a lot of sense in most scenarios. So as I said, Wits End third, and your last two items are really flexible. So you probably will be going for another damage item here and a more defensive focused item here. So for the damage item here, I actually like to get Bloodthirster because I already have quite a bunch of attack speed from, my items over here, as well as my Lethal Tempo. So I think here, getting Bloodthirster for injection of AD, as well as some extra physical vamp is really, really helpful here. But your other options are, you could go for even more on hit with the Nashor's Tomb. Now, Nashor's Tomb is not really a very popular item in general. Most people don't really go build Nashor's Tombs for a good reason. It's really not that good of an item, but it is an option at the end of the day. Triforce is a very popular option as well. The big thing about Triforce is that it actually gives you the health to offset the health you lost from Blade of the Rune King. You also get, again, more attack speed and AD as well. Ability Haste always helpful, and you also get the Spellblade passive on top of the movement speed. Spellblade passive, of course, really good for Vayne because she can proc it very, very easily with her Tumble. Another option, you can just straight up go for more attack speed with the Phantom Dancer. Now, I really don't think you need more attack speed anymore at that point, but some people just love having as much attack speed as you can get. And Phantom Dancer is pretty much the item that gives you the most attack speed out of any item. And another defensive option you could go for here, on the fourth item, is it four? Yeah, the fourth item slot, or even the fifth, is actually Shield Bow. So for example, if you already have a Bloodthirster, and you go for Shield Bow as the last item, you're going to get a bigger shield, so that's always going to be helpful. But Shield Bow just generally good stats and the shield. And even though Twin Guard does give you a 15 penalty for building it, I actually think Twin Guard could be a really, really good last item option. And I would have gone for it in this game if I actually reached my last item, as you'll see later. But I actually think Twin Guard is really good because it gives you so much defenses and really, really quickly as well. So I actually think Twin Guard is still a really good option, especially because Vayne does true damage, so it's not affected by the reduction in AD when you proc your Silver Bolts. So of course for the runes, we're going to go for Lethal Tempo, which is of course going to allow you to attack quickly, which is what you want. Brutal for the auto attack damage because you auto attack a lot. Giant Slayer in general is going to be good here, or Coup de Grace if the enemy team has no HP or something. And here I like to go for Bloodline since you already have enough attack speed. I think Bloodline is simply better here. Bone Plating. Here we're going to go for the defensive capabilities, and for the spells you want to go for Flash as well as Ghost. You pretty much want to go for Ghost almost 100% of the time. I would say like 95% of the time you want to go for Ghost, unless they have like 4 assassins, then maybe you can go for Exhaust. But Ghost really important on Vayne to get the mobility to kind of run around in the fight, to kind of avoid damage as well as to deal damage. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Let's move on to talking about the gameplay. Okay, so now moving on to the gameplay section of the video. As usual guys, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Any questions, queries, or remarks, feel free to leave them in the comments below, and I'll of course be sure to address them. So Vayne generally prefers to play with an enchanter support. Like Lulu is probably the best support for Vayne. Yumi's good as well, and pretty much any enchanter, Janna, you know, whatnot is definitely better. But here we have a Blitzcrank, which is sort of an engager, but it's more of a catcher really. The hook can be useful if you get picks and snowball in lane, definitely as a late game champion. If you snowball in the early game, it's definitely going to be good. So yeah, but it's a little bit wonky though, because Vayne doesn't have the most damage in lane. Here Leona just randomly engages on the Blitzcrank. Blitzcrank pulls her back in. I'm just getting some free damage onto Leona, but you can see I barely do any damage. Now here you see I have a 5-stack lethal tempo now, because I've attacked 5 times 6 now. So here what I'm actually doing is I'm actually just trying to maintain my lethal tempo stacks like this, so I get more lethal tempo stacks there. And I'm out trading Samira because I have more attack speed than her, so I'm actually able to just land more attacks. So here I tumble out of the way to dodge. Here I still have my lethal tempo maintained. You can see based on the glow around my body that I actually have the lethal tempo maintained. Now here I have a full stack lethal tempo. I'm just blasting away onto Leona, and because of that I actually get the kill. If I didn't have the full stack lethal tempo there, honestly I still think I would have gotten the kill, but she would have been able to run a lot further because my attacks would have been a lot slower. So I guess a small kind of tip there is to just maintain the lethal tempo fully stacked if you get into level 1 skirmish, if you can. Of course you don't take poke worth of like half of your health to maintain your lethal tempo, but if you can, like in this matchup, Leona has no range, Samira has way worse range than Vayne, so I can actually use my range to bully, and I never thought I would say that on Vayne, but I can use my range to bully the Samira and maintain my lethal tempo, which then allowed me to get the attack speed to easily kill Leona. Speaking of which, Leona is getting pulled in again. I stun her up against the wall. I'm just free firing on her. I'm just going to run her down. She's way too overextended to survive here. And yeah, we just get another free kill. Samira taking a bunch of damage as well. I mean, they both don't have any summoner spells at this point, and we still have all of ours. I mean, we only expended Blitzcrank Ignite on the initial kill. So we are in a very dominant position in lane, which is something I never thought I would say as playing as a Vayne against Samira Leona. Now honestly, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, Leona is kind of running it down. Like, she's gone picked twice, and if I was this Samira, I would be really sad because my Leona is completely inting my lane and I can't really do very much about it. It's just pain. So here, yeah, we're just maintaining the freeze on our side. It's gonna start to slow push because we have like waves that are built up, so eventually it's gonna slow push and they definitely can't fight us. Here I'm actually walking further up than what I normally would because I'm actually kind of trying to bait Leona to engage on me, which I thought that she would, but she's actually kind of learned her lesson from the first 2 deaths and she's not really doing it. So here I'm just walking up past my minions to kind of try to let Leona think I'm overextended and try to let her engage on me on purpose, especially because now I have ulti. But she's not really taking the bait. Now even here, I'm just walking up, I'm walking away from the bush, away from my Blitzcrank, so he can help me so that Leona can actually engage on me, but she's completely not taking the bait. She is 2 levels down on me, now 1 level down, but she was, you know, really under-farmed and really under-leveled, so I was trying to take advantage of that and get another fight. But looks like Leona actually learned from her mistakes and she actually chose not to engage on me at all, which is I guess it's good to see that, you know, she is not just randomly diving in and she's kind of stopped inting her lane. It's gonna be a bit more of a competitive lane now, maybe. I say maybe because I've already gotten fed off of the first 2 kills, so I'm already snowballing. I'm like 1k gold ahead of Samira at this point. So here, important thing on Vayne especially is to get the attack speed component of the item first. So here you can see I've picked up the recurve bow and the longsword. I didn't pick up a vamp scepter and a dagger. I picked up the recurve bow. This is really important because Vayne prioritizes attack speed because you want to attack faster to proc your W more often. Now here Leona overextended again, but I'm not really going to be able to catch her by myself. Kindred actually comes in onto Leona, but Kindred can't possibly kill Leona that quickly, so yeah. Instead, she decides to kill my minions instead of the Leona, but yeah, it is what it is. Now Mundo comes in for a gank. Now honestly, I'm not too scared here. I'm, you know, really fed compared to the Samira. Samira did pick up some anti-heal, but we don't really have much healing at this point, so not too important of a detail there. In fact, she's actually delaying her own build because she has like no damage at this point. She has anti-heal and she has defensive boots. So Samira is one of the least threatening Samiras you will ever see. 5 minutes into the game, or almost 5 minutes into the game, she basically has almost no damage. And she's put herself, I mean, I've put her behind, or I haven't put her behind, Leona has put her behind by inting the lane. And she's put herself behind by some questionable itemization. Huge hook comes in from Blitzcrank. She does block the condemn, though, so really well played by her on that. But honestly, we're just a little bit too fed at this point. We just run her down. Now here I'm focusing Leona because Acel's a little bit out of my range. So here I'm trying to get Leona. Unfortunately, I don't get Leona, and now I'm in a little bit of trouble because Acel has the Rhylights to slow me down. Honestly, if I was Acel, I might have just chose to run me down instead of just running away. I think Acel could have actually killed me there, but he chose to play it safe and run away instead, which I respect. But if I was Acel, I was going for that kill now. And the exhaust kind of messed me up. Acel did save his Leona's life with that clutch exhaust there. But either way, we get a kill onto Samira, and we are able to pick up our Bork on our base. So, looking at the rest of the map now, Riven is incredibly fat, 3-0, same amount of gold as me, so not looking good on that end. But elsewhere on the map, Kindred and Mundo are about even, and Katarina is slightly ahead of the Ace Soul. And of course, we are kind of winning bot lane against Samira pretty hard. No vision there, so we can't really follow up on Leona, but whole enemy team looks like they're going for Dragon. So not too much is really going to happen here, I believe. I'm just farming the wave because we can't really contest the Dragon without our jungler who is dead. At most, we can maybe find a pick with Blitzcrank. But we're not really playing for a pick, or at least I'm not. I'm just playing for the wave. And speaking of pick, in goes the hook onto the Ace Soul. Ace Soul jumps out of the way with the flash, and now I'm just hitting whoever I can, which is Leona in this case. I get stunned, but we do get the kill onto her. I'm focusing Mundo because I'm pretty much the only one who can really kill Mundo because I do a lot of true damage to him. Katarina picks up a triple. I'm just running Mundo down. Full max attack speed with the lethal sample stack. We kill the Mundo, 4 kills to my team. Enemy team gets the Dragon, we get 4 kills, and I know which team I'd rather be, which is my team. Because in case you guys didn't know, Dragon is really, really useless. It gives you barely any stats, and honestly, the amount of gold we got from those 4 kills is worth more than whatever stats they get from that Dragon. So, if if 4 people die from one Dragon, it's not worth it. If 1 person dies from the Dragon, arguably it's worth it. If like 2 people die from a Dragon, yeah, that's no good anymore. So here I actually get really greedy for another plate, but I don't get it, and I nearly get punished actually. Really, yeah, really greedy of me. But yeah, I'm so ahead, I don't think I'm under that much threat, honestly. Minion walks in the way of the Blitzcrank hook, so it doesn't quite connect onto Samira, unfortunately, but yeah, we are super duper fed now. We're at 2k gold up on the Samira, and it's... I mean, I'm not gonna say it's unplayable for Samira, because honestly, it is playable for Samira. Like, Samira is one of those champions that even when you're behind, you can still, make a play. Like, if I get chain CC'd by Leona with a EQ ult, or like ult EQ, whatever you want to do, the full CC chain on Leona, plus Samira just dashing in on me with all of her spells and her ulti, I do believe I still die. Doesn't matter how fed I am, I do believe I still die. Furthermore, I have the Ruined Blade of the Rune King to reduce my health even further, to make it even easier for him to kill me. So I'm definitely not playing with that kind of attitude that I can't die or anything like that, but definitely I'm playing more aggressive because I do have a lead and I do want to push it, which should always be your goal when you're ahead. When you're ahead, you always want to push your lead, you always want to translate your lead to other lanes, and you never want to be super passive when you're ahead. Of course, kind of depends on the champion that you are as well. If like I'm super ahead as a Sivir in the early game, I may not be trying to push my lead so hard because Sivir can't really do so much in the early game with like 2 kills in lane, for example. So it kind of depends on the champion you are, but in general, you do want to push your lead when you're ahead. Leona, I'm not quite sure what she's doing. She's really overextended. Gets knocked out by Blitzcrank, gets stunned, hooked in by Blitzcrank, condemned into the wall, does die. Mundo shows up. So now it's still a 2v2 because Leona was gotten rid of earlier. Mundo starts realizing he can't do anything to me because he's getting kited. Acel now comes in. It's become like a 4-man gank here. Kindred shows up as well, so now it's a 3v3. But, I mean, honestly, the enemy team is kind of smart enough to know they can't really duel Vayne. Like, Vayne, 5-0-2 Vayne is just way too strong at this point. Like, the only person who could kill me on the enemy team relatively easily, it's probably going to be the Riven, who is also very fed herself. So we pick up the tower, Acel gets hooked in, I condemn him into the wall, looks like another free kill until he flashes away. I'm going to have to flash to follow. Now Samira is on top of my hit. She has the ulti, gets knocked out by Blitzcrank, flashes away but dies to Blitzcrank. Now Leona is in a little bit of hot water because she's hopped in, is able to actually get the kill on Blitzcrank, and I'm actually not going to chase her because I'm not quite sure I wasn't quite sure at that point where the Riven was. Now, the moment I backed off, Riven actually showed top. But when I was making this play, Riven was actually walking back from base. So I didn't want to risk Riven being behind Leona and then dying to the Riven. Because the worst thing I could do here is to give my huge shutdown to the most fed member of their team, being the Riven. I mean, we look at the game state. everyone on their team is 0 kills except Leona and Riven. Leona clearly isn't a threat here, so Riven is a threat on the enemy team. And really, Riven is the main one that probably is going to be able to kill our team. Like, if Riven does 1v9s a fight, the whole complexion of the game could change because she could get her team fed and I could die, and my team could get behind, things like that. So I really don't want to give any kind of kills to the Riven. In fact, I want to kill the Riven myself to kind of do the same thing, which is to get her shut down and to make sure I can carry my team. Now here a little bit far up, really a little bit dangerous here. I don't quite want to go for this play. But yeah, so the good thing about Riven is, the good and bad thing is like she does have some gap closers, but she is still relatively kiteable. She does have a lot of short dashes, but she is still relatively kiteable. Not so much so like a Mundo. Like Mundo is completely kiteable, he can't do anything to you. But Riven can actually reach you, so if she does like a dash and flash combo, like she could very easily just dispatch me instantly. So I am very, very cautious of her. Here I've already completed my Terminus, and I am building, of course, towards my Wits End. Wits End in this match really useful against Asol, and Asol might be 0-3, but we all know how broken mages are in this meta, and also Asol one of the best scalers in the game, so I'm definitely not counting him out. Definitely still want to go for that Wits End to counter the Asol. Even if there wasn't any magic damage on the enemy team, I probably still would go for the Wits End. Wits End is just an amazing item in general. Gives you, even if you don't count the magic resist, you still get a ton of attack speed, you still get the on-hit magic damage, you still get the healing. Like, it's just an amazing item overall. Really cheap item as well. I believe it's like 2,700, one of the cheapest items. Here a fight's kind of breaking out in the mid lane, and I'm not there, which is a huge problem because I'm a major part of my team's damage. So I'm racing there as fast as I can. The fight's full on breaking out. I'm here, I'm ulting, and I'm just gonna quickly dispatch this guy. The Mundo was already gone. I'm gonna get rid of the Leona. Now here I flash forward to get the Asol. Unfortunately, now Riven is on top of me, so I'm trying to kite her out. I condemn her into the wall, and now focusing her. She is like 1 HP. I can't believe she didn't die there. But my team is now chasing for her, which I think is a horrible idea because she is really fed and she has a tower. So here you can see the Yone actually dies to her, and Kindred is taking a pounding, so she has to run for the hills. Yeah, definitely not a good look. Now here, even though she's 1 HP, I'm actually a little bit cautious because I still believe with her 2 items now, if she like instantly flashes on top of me with a stun, I still think I die. I don't really know if she had flash at this point or not, so I'm definitely erring on the side of caution because, as I said, I don't want to just die to Riven, especially with my 8 kills and my huge shutdown. Here I pick up my Wits End and I pick up my QSS, which is of course generally the best enchant for most ADCs, of course, especially Vayne, because you don't want to get CC, so you can run away so you can DPS. In this case, huge QSS value. Everything Leona has can be QSS'd. Riven stun also can be QSS'd. So a lot of QSS value, especially like, moment you see Leona, QSS value just goes through the roof because QSS counters Leona's entire kit. I can see Leona coming down. Of course, she was sweeping and I can see her coming down. Fight kind of breaks out here. I know Riven is behind them, so I'm really cautious here to not get caught by Riven. Here I'm focusing the Asol, who's a little bit out of position. I know Riven is there. I'm actually kind of just baiting her in, to be honest, with my team. And we finish the Riven off. I actually get a double here. And here, this was actually a pentakill, I believe. Like here, this could easily have been a penta, but unfortunately my quadra and my penta end up getting stolen. So no pentakill for me because Kindred took both of the kills. But anyway, it's not such a big deal. Getting kills on other members of the team is also good, just for the general, winning the game kind of purposes. Because if you're just the only fed carry on your team, if you die, the game is just over. Right, so like, think about it in the Riven's perspective. She's like the most fed member on her team and like the only fed member on her team. So the moment she dies, the game is just over for them. Like, they can't really do anything. So never really want to be in that position. If you're the team that's losing, you do want to be in that position because you can at least have a chance to get back into the game if you have one fed member. But if you're the team winning, you want to generally spread your goal out throughout your team in general. And the moment you hit a certain point, like here, you can see I'm like almost 14k goal, which is like nearly 4k goal ahead of the Riven, who's the most fed member of their team. I don't really need kills anymore because I'm already super ahead of the curve, so I can't afford to give kills to other people on my team if I'm nice enough, I guess, or if I'm strategic enough. But you know how solo queue works. Most of the time you just want to get the kills for yourself, and obviously I am a victim of that as well. Everyone is. And here a full-on fight breaks out. I'm just focusing whoever I can. Everyone's on 1 HP basically at this point. But yeah, I'm just gonna push in the wave. And here we can get at least an inhib, if not more. Yeah, Riven is not so much of a threat anymore after she's gotten taken down twice. Like, I realize she can't really kill me. at this point, unless, you know, I make some really stupid error. But here, they do have the Nexus Shield, so we can't really end the game. So I'm just gonna... I was trying to go to push top lane, but my team is trying to start a fight for some reason, even though it's really... Like, this is one of the classic mistakes. Like you have pushed in mid, you got in the mid him, you shouldn't be trying to start a fight in mid, because there really isn't anything to be achieved from this fight. The enemy team has to be really stupid to overextend out of their base to start a fight with you when they're behind. So in general, what's going to happen more often than not is either you're going to get baited, die to the enemy team's base, or you're going to waste your time just waffling around and not actually fighting. So here, thankfully for us, the enemy team actually walks out of their base and actually like dies. So here Leona's even engaging 1v5. Like, what's going on here? And like, Yone actually picks up a triple kill. And actually dies here, so kind of awkward. But yeah, we have Baron waves, you know, coming in, and like Riven's just dead. Like, as I say, she's really easy to kite, and the game is just over at this point. So there we go, easy win. No deaths from me at all, and I'm gonna leave you guys with the stats as usual. Thank you guys so much for watching the video, and goodbye.